Okay, so I put my hook back in the spot. I'm going to remove this stitch marker that I was using to hold my place. So what I'm trying to do is I'm basically going to do single crochet, but when I put my hook through, for instance, here, I want to make sure my hook is actually going through uh, both layers. So it's going to go through the top layer and the bottom layer. But other than that, I'm going to be crocheting like normal. So I'm going to put my hook through the front and the back, both layers. Let me move this stitch marker. And then I'm going to crochet like normal. So that's why it's kind of important to make sure that your top and bottom pieces are lined up correctly, but they don't have to be. I mean, if they're off by a little bit, it'll eventually work its way out. So it's not a big deal if it's not perfectly lined up, but I'm just doing the same single crochet that we've been doing for the top and the bottom pieces, except I'm doing it with both layers. And so you can see on the back how that looks. It looks like this top row is in blue, and then any pieces that are sticking out will eventually get tucked on the inside. So I'm coming to my first corner, and this corner stitch, I want to make this stitch kind of nice and rounded. So I'm going to do one single stitch in the corner stitch, like for the top. I'll do one more in that same spot kind of to round, and I'll do a third one in that same spot to bring my needle to the back. Now in this second side, it's going to be a little bit trickier because on the top we had single stitches that we were just single crochets we were crocheting into, so that was nice. But if you look at this corner, it's not quite as clear where to put your hook, but actually it doesn't really matter. So I'm just gonna find a spot, put my hook, and keep going. So just as long as they're lined up correctly, and it's a little bit tighter because I'm not, there we go. As long as it's lined up correctly, and I'm not putting them too far apart, it should be fine. It's just a little bit harder since it's not meant to be crocheted into at this angle. So there we go. Okay, that took me a few tries. Let's hope this gets easier as we go, because I don't want to have to be fighting it this whole time. Okay, so I think I'm getting the hang of it. Take this stitch marker out. So it looks like I can go it's a little tricky. Put it through, pull it out. The problem is I'm pulling stuff when I pull it through. See, I'm pulling extra yarn that's like not supposed to get pulled out. It's getting caught. But this is actually where your chenille yarn might be a bit easier, because your chenille yarn doesn't, I don't think it splits the same way my yarn does. Let's go. There we go. So this one, you might have to fight with it a little bit to get it to go smoothly all the way down. But the end result would be a nice crocheted border in the front and maybe a slightly lumpier crocheted border along the back. that's okay. I might want to fix these later by doing a little bit of going over it again with blue, just so that's more even. And so let me pause the video and finish off this side, and then we'll pick up down at this bottom corner. Okay, so we came around this corner, we've come all the way up this edge. Now we're back at this tail, and if we look at the pattern, it says chain 9, turn 8 slip stitches, then return to crocheting around the manta fish. Okay, so now that I am in this tail point, I'm going to chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I guess if you wanted a longer manta tail, you could keep going. There's nothing to stop you from doing that. But I think that's probably good enough. I think that's cute. Maybe I'll do a couple more. 10, 11, just to be different. Okay, so what we're going to do is, again, we have the loop on the hook. We've got one loop after the hook, one chain after the hook. So I'm going to go into this second chain from the hook, and I'm going to do a slip stitch. So I just pull it through and then pull it through. And then I'm going to go into the next chain. Let me turn this off so it stops trying to focus in the background. Into the next chain, pull it through and pull it through. In the next chain, pull it through and pull it through. In the next chain, pull it through, pull it through. In the next chain, pull it through, pull it through. So you can see it's making this sort of flat tail shape. So I'm just going to keep doing this. Pull it through and then through again. Go in, pull it through and through again. If you have your hook at the right angle, you can just pull it straight through. So I could just go in and then pull it through all at once, but it's a little tricky and not really necessary. So I think I'm getting close. I'm going to pull it through and then pull it through. And how many was that? I lost count, but it looks like I don't really have anywhere else to go because I'm back at the base. So I'm going to just put my hook through the front piece, put my hook through the back piece, maybe put my hook through the back piece. Oh, I've got two. Now, listen, if you were using a yarn where the stitches are more clearly defined, it'll be more important where you're putting your hook into, but you're using a very fuzzy Chanel yarn, and I'm just using whatever yarn I had left over. So it's actually okay if your hook is not in the exact correct spot. So as long as you're like closing up the sides so that no stuffing falls out. So I'm going to I took off that stitch marker so I can tuck these tails in, and I'm going to keep going. Now this video is already almost 10 minutes long, so I'm just going to do the rest of this off camera. I'm going to single crochet along this edge. When I get to this corner stitch, remember I'm going to do 1, 2, and 3 all in the same stitch, and then I will come back up this way. Now I think I will stop right at this one because then I have enough room to stuff my manta with stuffing and then figure out once and for all, how do I want my eyes? Do I want my eyes on the side or on the front? That'll be my moment of truth. This time I'll have to make a decision. So I will do those in the next video. I'm going to finish off this side, do 3 in here, and then finish off this side off camera. And then I'll start recording again to stuff it, to close it, and then we'll have a finished manta. And mine says M on it for University of Michigan. It's very cute. Okay, bye.